Welcome to the Moss and Marriage Goals Show. It's your
Let's
boy,
go.
Dr. Deontay Moss.
And I'm Dr. Crantia Moss.
And we are Moss and Marriage, and it's the Goals Show. God oversees all love stories. And we in season 2.
Let's go.
And we got the Williams in the building. Forever Williams. Hashtag check them out. Quit playing. And make sure you enjoy this episode of Moss and Marriage with the Williams.
I'm ready to jump right in.
Go ahead. Hold on.
My question was going to be, did y'all have a vision for y'all marriage? Or have y'all ever discussed a vision for y'all marriage? Or did y'all kind of just jump into it?
We definitely had long conversations when we first started courting.
Okay.
So I'm a kind of traditional dude, so I use that word intentionally when I first met my wife. I let her know from the beginning, like, I don't do this modern dating thing that everybody else do. I know I'm a husband. I know I'm a father.
That's your spirit.
Right.
That's your spirit.
And if you're going to be interested in talking to me and talking to other guys, you're never going to be able to truly meet me and get to know me and invest everything in me and let me know you. I said, if you commit to a true courtship, I guarantee, I know in 6 months whether or not I want to marry you.
Right.
And in 6 months, I was asking her parents for her hand in marriage.
That's
It
dope.
worked out.
So the thing with me, I dated, but when I dated. So I never just talked to one person when I was dating.
Yeah.
You know, you get to know people.
Yeah.
And when I met him, we'll hopefully get into that later. When I met him, first thing he said was, if you're going to date me, I don't want you talking to anybody else. I said, okay.
Wow.
Got it.
Sorry, babe.
No.
But what he didn't know was I wasn't dating anyone else. Because I asked God, I wanted him to bring my husband. But I figured my husband was probably asking God, I want you to bring my wife. And if I'm talking to a whole bunch of guys, he's not asking for a girl that's going to come with baggage, right?
Yeah.
If he's asking God for his wife, I have to show myself as a wife, right? So I let everyone go, everything go, and I prepared myself to receive my blessing. And I believe he's my blessing.
Won't he do it? Gotta do
Won't
it.
he do it?
What I told my wife when we first started dating, when we had this conversation, she was she's like, why? And I said, I look at it during this courtship period that I'm advertising to be your husband.
He said that.
I demand that you advertise to be my wife.
Yeah.
I want to know what I'm getting right before I sign on the dotted line, because I'm not getting divorced.
Yeah.
Like, this is to the end. So
That's
I
powerful.
need to know. And I have a son, so there's gonna be a blended family. I need to see what the dynamics like.
Yeah.
Right. And I know in the short term, and it really worked out for us. It was a blessing.
That's what's up. And my wife was kind of the same way. When I first started trying to talk to her, we was friends for a long time. She was like, if you're not trying to marry me, don't talk to me.
Dang, okay.
And I'm like, who she think she? Okay. And it didn't take us long. We literally dated for like about 9 months. And then I proposed, and we got married 2 months after that. Yeah. And now we be celebrating in November 12 years.
Jeez,
Awesome.
that's
Yeah. So how long y'all been married?
almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
August
So
28th.
how does a Joshua meet a Nene and a Nene meet a Joshua?
Or
ahead,
a Williams meet a Williams and a
Forever Williams. How do a Williams meet a
Not long,
Williams?
3 minutes.
The whole story.
But y'all-
He's a politician. He can
So I'll be vulnerable and say it. So
not the website.
so
Y'all been on Black Planet? No,
close.
She hilarious.
I have been married before, and I was married for 13 years before. What? Okay. And I was going through a divorce, and I was fighting to make sure I kept custody of my son, and I was in law school at the time. And my brother and best friend kind of convinced me that, like, dude, you need to get out here and date and hit these streets. And I'm like, that ain't what I'm looking for. Like, I know what I'm looking for. And they convinced me to get on some dating apps. And I met my wife online, and we met, and we still have screenshots of our first conversations, showing that interaction. So I mean, literally before we had our first date, I told her be excited that we're going to dinner on Thursday, because you're going to dinner with your future husband.
And I saw the text the other day too.
Yeah. So that's how we met. I knew what I was looking for. I was ready, willing, and able to get married. My standards were very, very high. Her standards was very, very, very high. Yeah. And we just had some deep conversations in those first couple of dates, knowing what our vision was for a marriage, what our vision was for our relationship leading up to engagement and marriage, and what our standards were on how each of us can operate when we're not in each other's presence. And setting those standards very, very early on, instead of trying to chase the other stuff, the passion, we had a clear understanding, and and it worked out for us.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I see, and y'all like a super dope couple out here.
Thank you.
So see, I be following y'all, I be watching y'all on social media and stuff. I've known you. You are author
Yes.
and a realtor,
Yes.
and you are a lawyer and a politician.
And
So
a
you,
professor.
so
Yeah,
like,
and a professor, too.
Oh, I'm not gonna. She also works in corporate America as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
She's got 2 careers.
so there's like two super successful people coming together. How do y'all manage that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because y'all are people in your own right, but now y'all like together, and it's like, whoa.
So I can speak to this. So I have friends, I have cousins, I have all kind of people. They talk to me. They say, "Hey, I want me a hardworking man." But at the same time, they want someone that's up under them, that's always there. So for me, he's extremely busy. Okay, I'm talking going back and forth to Columbus, teaching, being a lawyer, and I'm talking he's a criminal defense attorney, a full-time criminal defense attorney. So me, I have 14 years of supply chain management experience. So I'm a supply chain management at Dana Corporation. So I work from home. So I work, but it's no one there. I'm like, oh my God, he's always working, always working. So I found myself not lonely, but I wanted him there all the time. But at the same time, I want him making money. So I can't have both. So I got more involved, and I picked up being a realtor because I had to stay busy because I didn't want my mind wandering. I wanted to just be an equal support for him at the house as well. But I knew that he was extremely busy, so I just made myself busy. That's why I'm so busy right now. Yeah, that's it.
That's pretty dope. And I thank you for sharing that, because I spoke with a woman today who talked about how she wanted her guy to be more financially providing for the home, but she also is very clingy. So
you can't have both.
Yeah.
Like you got to pick your poison.
There was a period where literally it's 3:00 in the afternoon. She's like, "You ain't home yet."
You
I'm
not
like,
home yet?
I gotta make this money, and my journey of being a homeless high school dropout and becoming disabled for 6 years and laying in bed and fighting to get out of that bed and hit college. Like when I finally hit my career, when I met Nira, I was in law school. Like I was still on disability. I hadn't even started in my career. Not $1 saved in the bank. So when I finally got going in my career, I felt like I had to make up for a decade. So when she's telling me I want you to be at home at 3:00 watching these shows with me hugged up on the couch, I'm like, no, it ain't about to rock out like that. Like even when I was just a practicing attorney, before I ran for office, before I became a professor, like 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, I'm going to see clients in jail. I'm going to meet clients and sign contracts. Like I was grinding. I had a wedding to pay for.
Yeah.
So,
and you be serious down there. I'll be seeing you.
Yeah.
I got a cleaning contract down there. Moss Enterprise. Shout out to
Hey,
Moss Enterprise.
that's
Clean the
right.
courts. I used to see you down there
good.
talking to them. I'm like,
That
oh
is-
my God, he handling business. I just be like, oh,
That's good.
just like out there.
That's
But that's
super
what's, I gotta ask you a question.
Yeah.
You mentioned she wanna be on the couch with you watching shows and stuff. Do
Definitely.
she watch How to
Lifetime.
Kill Your Husband shows?
no.
Like Snapped and First
No.
48 and all that
No,
stuff?
no. Hers kind of hurt my ego just a little bit. So her shows is always these dating shows like Love at First Sight and then
Married at
Oh, that
Right?
my shows.
Married at First Sight.
Oh,
but
Love
then
is
I
Blind.
kind of I'm like, what you trying to say? Like you ain't had
You're not going on the
like,
ultimatum.
I'm like, hold on, like you didn't have Love at First Sight when you met me before. Like you know what I mean?
Let's talk about
Yeah. So okay, so you got that's what I do. You know what I'm saying? She watch I'm gonna kill you. And if you drink this Gatorade, I'm like, why you keep watching that? I gotta watch it with her because I'm like, what's going on here? You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
So you would
You didn't know
know.
what she plotted.
Yeah. Yeah, but she ain't did that. I'm still here, so
Deep down inside, I wish I was a detective.
Oh,
That's really
wow.
why I like those shows.
yeah, because she really be serious about the shows. Like she look them up. Like if they don't give her enough information on Force 48, she be like, did you know he got on probation and he is out and he committed another crime? And I'm like, well, how you know all this extra
He don't
stuff?
watch. He don't watch my shows, and I don't watch what he watch. He watch documentaries all day.
That's
We went to an aquarium. He can tell you every fish, every anything.
That'll
He's
be him.
extremely smart.
That'd be him. Like random knowledge. Like
Random
who just
knowledge.
knows that?
Yeah. I don't like reality TV. Like it's pointless to me. It's just a form of entertainment. And like seriously, I laid in bed for a long time. I lost a lot of years to my disability. And like anytime I'm awake, I feel like I need to be learning or teaching, like operating, helping people or helping myself grow. So like documentaries, even just reading articles on the internet, I'd rather do that than watch a reality show.
And I'm very proud of this man. He was almost 500 pounds, laid in bed, and he just God is good. Like God is good. That's all I can say.
Amen.
That's what's up. I heard you mention earlier that you was married for 13 years. You had a son, right?
I do.
And how was that transition? When you know, because he had a son. You don't have any kids, right?
Yeah, no, I don't
So
have any.
he had a 13-year-old, right? And how was that transition for you? Like, was that a hard thing to navigate, or?
Be truthful, baby.
Okay, so we had him full time as well. So sometimes I'm going to pick him up from school. We actually got extremely close, but at the same time I didn't know. So he was very supportive. I didn't know my boundaries. Can I tell him to do this, or can I tell him not to do that? I felt like his mom was active, so I felt like he do have a mom, he do have a father, but he was more so, hey, you're here 24/7 with him. You can say and do what you want to do. But I just deep down, I just felt like it wasn't my place, right? So it was always a struggle for me to have him, because I didn't have him when he was 5 or 3. He was already 13. He already had
Teenager.
habits. And some of the habits I didn't agree with, but I didn't know if it was up to me to say anything, right?
Yeah. So I mean, it was a difficult transition, because my ex and I raised him with a little bit of different morals than what Niera would like to see in her children. So we would bump heads on that, like, why did you let him do this, and why did you let him? And I'm like, look, I can't just change the course now that I have somebody in my life that thinks differently. I have to kind of ride this wave out and just try to guide him, to safety. And that's what we ended up doing. And I mean, he's 17. He just graduated from high school.
Clay High
He's
School.
about to be 18
Hey.
next month. So we did our job. And for me, it was, I wanted to make sure that I gave the image of God at home, which I believe is a husband and wife relationship. I believe, when God made Adam and Eve, he created them in his image, and that's how we are intended to be. So you want to raise children in a reflection of God, which is a 2-parent household, even if it's not the biological parent, because you're supposed to give them both sides. That's why when I look for my partner, I didn't want somebody that had the exact same personality as me. I didn't want us to be mirror images of each other, because that's not the way we were intended. We were intended to be different, so we can complement each other and give a good, accurate reflection of what God is to our children. And I think Matthew benefited from that.
That's awesome.
It's dope when a parent, like a extra parent, can be in and being involved. It provides, like, my wife to my daughters has been such a wonderful mom.
Oh, wow.
To them.
Awesome.
Now, they have a great mom too, but she's been a wonder, and she's magnified it on another level. Like, it's stuff like when I used to go get because we had like visitation and stuff like that. So I would go get my daughters. We go to Chuck E. Cheese all the time, all that. And she like, quit Chuck E. Cheese and these kids to death. Play some board games with them, spend time with them.
Yeah.
And that's how you build. And then you save your Chuck E. Cheese money.
Exactly.
And guess what we're going to do? We're going to go to Disney World, Myrtle Beach,
Exactly.
Smoky Mountains. And I ain't never been to none of that stuff. So me and my kids at Disney World like, oh, my God, we here. Like, oh, we here. That's because of her. She done been all everywhere. And I'm like, oh, we at the Disney World. We in the Smoky Mountains. Like, so my kids, I had my kids when I was young. So I'm like not that much older than them. So we really was like.
How old were they when she came into your life?
So we've been together 12 years.
Okay.
So I had my first daughter, I was 15 years old. That's part of the testimony. Get that book pushed, pray until something happen every day, right? So how old was they when they?
I think like 7 and
So they
9,
21
maybe?
and 19 now. They're getting ready to be 20 and 22. So
Like
So
7 and 9.
so she,
Crazy.
yeah.
Okay.
Because we've been married for 12 years, and then we was friends before that. So so.
And my situation was kind of similar to yours, because I had dated a guy with kids before, but their mother wasn't as active.
Okay.
So I felt like I had a more active role in other situations. But our girl's mom is like super active.
Good.
I actually have to compliment her and tell her, like, she remind me a lot of my mom.
That's awesome.
And even their relationship with her reminds me of how I am about my mom.
That's awesome.
So I still to this day share with my girls, like, y'all got to kind of tell me what y'all need from me. You know what I mean? Or how do I fit into this puzzle? Because it's already, the role that I'm used to playing wasn't available. You know what I mean? So I had to kind of figure out where I fall.
Good.
And what I did, the approach I kind of took with it was I treat them like I would any other young girl who I love and care about and I want to see the best, you know what I mean, for her, or that I want to see have the best life. Okay. And every time they're in my presence, I'm pouring.
Yes, exactly.
I'm loving on them. I'm letting them know. I'm letting them talk to me. What you got going on?
Exactly.
You know, what's new? What's up? Ask me questions. Pick my brain. There's some stuff you shouldn't have to bump your head on, and some stuff you shouldn't have to go through because you got a me in the picture. And I'm not really your mom, so I can't judge you, control you, or none of that. I
Yes.
can only tell you from personal experience
Exactly.
what I think you should do.
Exactly.
And I felt like that worked for our relationship.
Exactly. I felt like I just had to be a role model.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
recently he texted me, our son, he said, he had texted me, he said, I think it was Mother's Day, and he was like, "You're a good stepmom." And that's a lot coming from him. He said, "I love you, you're a good stepmom." And then also, he want to be a realtor.
Yeah.
And
You're
I'm
a
just
realtor.
going to pour into him that I'm
That's
happy
dope.
that I could be a role model to him.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's what's up.
For sure. And I do want to chime in on the part about just because I don't know who else may be watching. I do think it is important for you to set the boundaries for your space.
Yes.
So whatever the kids were allowed to do when they was just with Deontay and his daddy daycare or Pee-wee Playhouse, they knew that I had expectations, and it was some things that we just wasn't going to do in my space.
Exactly.
Or
exactly.
my expectation, if y'all over here on the weekend, we go to church on Sunday.
That's right.
I'm sorry if you're not used to that, but
Yeah.
that's what we do here. You
That's
know what
right.
I mean? So it's something soon where I still think as a step parent, y'all got to get on the same road, and we get to decide
Yes.
how our home is going to be ran.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not regardless of what you're used to.
That's right.
It took a lot of convincing for me to get her out of that mindset where she's like, it's not my play. And I'm like, you live here.
Yeah.
Like you live in this household. Like I'm not
I was
always
we were
you
married,
need to
and I
set,
still
like you
felt-
need to set these rules and make sure you make this house yours as well. And my son started to really understand that.
Right.
Like he couldn't do things a certain type of way because Nier don't allow that. All right.
right.
All right. And he changed his ways.
He sure did.
Right, so what I was trying to convince her was like, you can't ask me to change his ways because he gonna look at me like you hypocrite. So I'm putting the pressure on her like, you need to go say
He
something.
always would text me, "Well, tell him." I'm like, "Oh my God."
Like, well, you need to
I
be
don't
the
want to
one
seem
to
like
step
I'm
up.
mean.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, God worked it out, right?
Yeah, he did.
always
He
That's
do.
what he do. He work it out.
For sure.
Won't he do it? Gotta do it.
That part. So I wanted to kind of chime into the engagement process.
Okay.
How was your
Oh.
engagement experience for people who are engaged or preparing to get engaged? I feel like that was like a challenging time.
2019, like during COVID.
They broke the internet
Oh yeah.
During
when they
engagement
got engaged.
process?
Yeah, it was
But-
like,
but
oh,
what about
the
the-
world was like, oh.
It would have been better.
Yeah. Tell him that.
So I was in law school at the time, and one of my professors, one of my mentors, Judge Myron Duhart, and I came to him, and so when I was in undergraduate, I was falsely accused of 2 felonies and got indicted, and I was charged with breaking and entering with the intention to commit a felony and felony grand theft. So I came up with my engagement with Judge Duhart, where we were gonna have a mock trial, where I was gonna plead guilty to the indictment of breaking into her heart with the intention of stealing her from all eligible suitors.
a real like
And-
he was gonna call me into the courtroom.
Yeah, and there was her family was going to serve as 12 jurors. The alternative juror was going to be a memorial of her uncle who had just passed away, and we were
This a movie.
we were planning that. Like the news was covering it and
The news was
everything,
covering it.
and it was going to happen April 21st of that year of 2019, and then COVID hit.
Wow.
And everything shut down. So we thought maybe it'd be 2 weeks, right? We listened to the governor. Maybe it's 30 days. So we put it off until May, and then it got extended again. And then it was the courts are completely shut down. You can't do it. And we kept dragging it on, and eventually, like June came, and I said, "No." I said we gotta go to Plan B. We gotta go to Plan B. So I made some calls to her mom and her family, and was like, "Hey, we need to do something." I said, "It'd be perfect if we do it by my birthday, because she'd think we're doing everything for my birthday."
Yeah, that's what I
Like
thought.
that, we making calls about people coming out to my birthday. And it was perfect. We did it the day before my birthday, and we got engaged. It was.
That's
it
I
was
was so mad at my cousins. I said, "Y'all coming to Josh's birthday party?" They said, "No, we can't even make it." I was real mad at them, and I guess they was there, but it wasn't his birthday party. It was our engagement party. I had no idea, and they all told me no. Everybody was so mean to me that day. I remember it.
yeah.
Man, that was a great setup that never happened.
sure.
I feel like you need to trademark that, copyright that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was gonna be really really dope. I was looking forward to it. I was disappointed that we weren't able to pull that off.
Yeah.
I appreciate Judge Duhart for even being willing to
Yeah.
do that at the time. But I mean, we had a beautiful engagement
Sure did.
downtown,
On the water.
next to the Heights.
All my family was there.
Yeah, we
That's
had like
what's up.
70 people there. Like I making those phone calls was stressful because at the time she didn't like me talking to her female friends.
Nope, not
so
at
I
all.
had I had designated people. Her mom was in charge of her older family members. Her cousin was in charge. Her young cousin. Then I had one of her female friends. I was in charge. So I'm out to dinner asking for her hand in marriage from her mom, and her mom see the friend text me. So mom still gave me permission, but she went and told Nia.
she
like,
said,
I don't know why that
you
girl
already know my
texted him.
mama. She said, "I don't know why she texted him." And I
Yeah, she
said,
doing
"Okay."
dear mama, dear mama. That's what's up. Yeah, Duhart is a good guy, man.
Awesome
He
guy.
used to. We had a program, but when I used to work in the schools, and he would help us clean the
wow.
projects, like the cherry woods and the manor and stuff. He would help us clean that. So I know him. He's a good guy. Now your family. I know, like, all your family.
All my
Yeah.
And
So
they know you.
Yeah. So y'all come from like a real spiritual background.
Yes.
Now, did you come from a spiritual background as well?
I did. My father was a reverend. I was raised in the church. Once he passed away, we kind of lost our way a little bit for a long time, and I found my way back there. I was bouncing from church to church, always looking for like that spiritual father that I was looking for in the church. Never really found it, and that was one of the things that really attracted me to her. Maybe after our second date, she invited me to church, and I got to meet all the Williams, and I could see the anointment that was over a lot of them, and I was like, all right, hey, this is where I belong. So
I love it when he's at church because I play the organ. So he'll always look up there. He's got this little glistening in his eyes, and then I'll see a text, and they say, "You're so beautiful, babe." So he's so sweet.
That's what's up. That's what I just found out recently that my wife loves when I praise God.
See, that's good.
She be like, "Get home." I'm like, "What?" Hallelujah! Thank you, Jesus.
That's so funny.
You just recently told me that.
I think that's attractive. It's attractive when a man loves God. Like when you love God, babe. I'm sorry. Like when you raise.
I was about to say,
It's very
we was gonna
attractive
talk about
when
that.
someone have a love for God. Like
sure.
that's one of the reasons why he used to be a youth pastor. He didn't tell him that. But he has a love for God, and he's very positive, but it's the love for God that got me.
I was telling him that I'm like, sometimes I'd be at church and I'd be like, why are these thoughts coming in my head at church? And it's like
amazing.
him praising God,
Yes, I
just
love
like
it.
him on fire for God.
And because you're married, you're allowed to have them.
Good.
But I
During
want him
praise
to
and
come
worship.
at home. Like,
During praise and worship.
Like I said,
and then we
Praise
gonna
the
go
Lord.
home. He gonna walk in the house. I'm like, hallelujah.
thank you, Jesus. Won't he do it? Gotta do it.
Exactly. That's funny.
I'm like, he is funny.
That's
You
funny.
So, I was talking about, so far as the engagement part, did y'all feel like y'all ran into any hiccups or how was y'all engagement process?
I ran into one hiccup, and that was with her mom. So because I had a 14-year-old son at the time, I asked for her hand in marriage, but I made it clear to her that I would not get married again if we did not move in together during our engagement period. I needed to know if this was going to, we're not going to get married, then commingle with my son, and things pop up that dissolve the marriage. I'm not getting divorced again. Yeah. So she was completely against us moving in together. And
she still was against it.
She still was, but, I mean, she tolerated it. And, you know, my wife would be the one that had to hear about it. But it worked out for us because there was a lot.
And we were engaged.
There was a lot of periods of rough patches where we literally had to figure each other out, figure out the home dynamic. Yeah. This co-parenting relationship with a stepmom and a mom that's active, and we were able to iron that out during our year-long engagement, and that made it where when I said I do, I knew it was forever. Yeah. I knew there was nothing that was going to rise up later on that could bring us down.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Forever Williams hashtag.
Forever Williams.
And I had asked that question because I feel like a lot of people talk about, just running into brick walls, or people who are engaged come and they second guess, like, this might not be it because of, that period of having to figure out the difficult parts of it, Yeah. And I'm like, I wonder if that's a familiar thing, if a lot of people have, because we had issues.
Oh, we did. Talk about them, babe. What was our
we
issues?
We had to call the Burts, and the Burts are marriage therapists. They was on season 1, but we called them and they helped intervene a lot for us.
And I love them.
Yeah, the McBrayers also. I remember.
I love the McBrayers.
Chris ended up having Sharice call me, and Sharice kind of coached me through the process.
Which she's a coach.
That is funny. But she kind of helped me find comfort in just. It's high anxiety. It's high stress. Yeah. It's you trying to learn somebody. It's y'all trying to build a life together and trying to, just get to know each other. And it's all happening quickly, just helping me basically. So I was just wondering if that was, a familiar story.
Definitely. Yeah.
Another question I have is, what's the best advice you guys have ever received?
So I think one of the best advice that somebody has given me was don't date for potential. Because when I first met Josh, he was in school, but I saw his ambition. So I felt like, yeah, he can have $1 million, but if we lost it tomorrow, he's going to try to get it back because he has ambition. But if he had $1 million with no ambition, we'll lose it and then we'll just be stuck. So it wasn't about money or anything. Like, he had ambition. And
I wasn't broke though, babe. I'm gonna put that on the record
as well. I had standards, so I wasn't going to date anyone that didn't have ambition. First of all, and I didn't date him for potential either, because he treated me like a queen when I made 3 times as much as him. Sorry.
Come on,
So he treated me like a queen, took amazing care of me. So I said, if nothing ever changed, I would still love you for who you are. And it wasn't about what you could be. Never that. It was about who you are today.
Yeah, and I think that's a powerful part about being married, growing together, seeing the levels and rising. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think that's a very important part of marriage. I think when you get married, you grow together.
Yes.
And you continue to grow to see where, like, I think you appreciate it more when you know, like, dang, we came from this and you still with me. Yeah. And then now we get to enjoy the fruits of our labor after we done reached a certain level. Like, that's powerful to me. Like, dang, you was there at the beginning. Now we doing it together. That's what's up. So
that's good.
Yeah.
I'm really happy to hear you say that. Me and Chris had very different opinions on marrying potential.
Oh, wow.
Because I felt... Yeah, McBrayer.
Okay, yeah. Because I thought you called me Chris. I was about to...
No.
No.
But remember, we all had that conversation, and I feel the same way as you. Like, don't marry potential. No. Because if that person never changed, number one, or you don't get to control when they change.
Exactly.
So, yeah, they may change, and they may get better and all of that kind of stuff, but you don't get to control when. So if they never change, would you say I do?
And Chris said, what did he say? You should date for potential?
He just said, basically, like, what if, I think he kind of used himself as an example.
Chris called the show, and so we get your opinion.
He's a wise man, though, so that's why I would love to know, because he always have great advice.
Yeah, we'll have to double back on it, but I know we have different opinions, and I've never heard nobody feel how I felt until you just said it, so that helped me.
We're going to get them on the show, too. We're going to get them around. We've been trying to work something out, but, you know, they travel the world all over the place, so, you know what I'm saying? But we're going to get them on the show, though.
For me, it's married for character. It's like, if you have like goals set and demands on what character traits your spouse must have, that's what you look for when you date, is those character traits. The ambition, she was looking for the hard work, the dedication. I was looking for somebody that was independent, right? That was in the church, that was God oriented, you know, was kind towards children, because I love children. I want more children. And seeing her around other kids, seeing her in church, seeing how ambitious and successful she was, and that she had high standards, those are the character traits I was looking for. I wasn't looking for money in my spouse. It was nice that she made money, but I wasn't seeing it, right? Because I made sure I paid for every dinner. I made sure I paid for every movie. I made sure I opened every door. And if I didn't have it, we weren't going to dinner.
That's true.
It was an ego check for me to have to allow her to pay for dinner. I wasn't used to that. I paid for everything in my prior marriage. Even when I was disabled, I paid 100% of everything. My ex-wife didn't work for 11 years. I paid every single bill. So when she's like, I'm taking you out to dinner, I was like, man, this is weird. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking around the room like, who's looking at me? Looking
always.
I'm like, I got money. I'm just letting you know I got money.
Yeah, he don't want me paying for anything.
And I'm still like that now. I want to provide for my wife, you know. So if she be like, I'm gonna go get my hair done. Sometimes I just sneak a cash app to her. You know, I want to get my nails done. I sneak a cash app to her.
Every time.
And when she want to pay for her Benz car note, I politely just say, "Go ahead, babe, you got that."
But my love language, unfortunately, is gifts.
It's not, unfortunately, that's your love language.
That's my love language, and he does very well fulfilling my love language.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And his is acts of service and physical touch and words of affirmation. Right?
Yours is acts of service and gifts.
And gifts. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was one of our early dating stories that kind of put it in her head that I was husband potential. I remember we were at El Camino's. I forget what the day was for, but we came outside and her car wouldn't start. So I drove her home, and then I went home. And then the next morning at like 3 o'clock in the morning, I drove and met a tow truck and got her car, jumped and fixed, and drove it back to her house. Right? So, parked it outside, left it. Had one of my friends come pick me up at 3 o'clock in the morning to take me back home. So I call her in the morning. I'm like, hey, we need to take your car to the shop. She's like, all right. And she got up early, got dressed. She came outside. I'm like, let's go. I'm like, let's go to breakfast.
Like, wait, what?
You know,
wow,
like,
already
let's go to
fixed.
breakfast.
That man cold. That man cold.
And I had just
You
met
put
him.
in that work when you want something. You know?
You're like, let me find this.
Yeah, I'm like, this is a perfect opportunity. Let me show access service. I remember that.
Love her in her language.
Yeah. But that's important though.
No, love
knowing your
language is
spouse's
very
love
important
language.
because we want to. Our natural ability is to love the way we want to be loved. But if that ain't their language,
Yeah.
they not. You know,
Speak,
if you
speak.
physical touch, quality time, and I'm acts of service and words of affirmation, I'm telling you, baby, you're just so beautiful. You like, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Touch me.
Exactly.
Spend time with me. And I'm like, but I told you, you're
Yep.
beautiful.
Right.
But
If
I
you
showed
don't
you
have
love all
effect.
day,
Right.
but you didn't show me the love the way
Yeah.
I receive it.
yeah.
Like
It's
when
very
we
important.
first started dating, she thought I received love the same way she did. So she
Yeah.
would try to buy me
Bought
gifts.
him all kind of stuff.
And I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
Like that's not what I want. Like I prefer words of affirmation. I prefer physical touch.
Yeah.
And I'm not the most cuddly type of dude.
Yeah.
So knowing that her love language was gifts and acts of service, I was like, that's perfect for me.
Yeah.
I can buy some stuff. I can fix some stuff around the house. I'm gonna put a doorknob on for you, baby. You know.
I was like, so you ain't got to, your arm ain't got to fall off.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
yeah, because that
Oh, wait.
that ain't even her.
Are you physical?
She like to lay on the arm at night,
Aw.
and that boy be numb. Sometimes I'm like, oh,
Your
you gotta
physical touch?
sacrifice your arm
It
sometimes.
was. I believe they change a lot.
Definitely.
They
I
do
really
change.
think
They do change.
Yes.
At one point, she had all of them. I'm like,
No,
you
it's
can't-
percentages.
I'm
yeah,
like, you
like,
can't have all of it. Shit, I want physical touch, words of affirmation. I want gifts. Right? I'm like, hold on. You can't have all five.
Yeah, it's like a test you could take too,
Yeah.
that you can figure out the percentages of what it is.
What
and
is-
stuff
what
like
is
that.
yours?
Mine's is acts of service and
Affirmation.
words of affirmation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she gotta tell
think
me
guys
you're doing a
like
good job.
words.
Yeah,
Guys like words of affirmation. A lot of them.
yeah, but acts of service is probably my number one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Quality
Okay.
time, acts of service.
For me?
Yeah.
Me? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. How do you get quality time if she works a lot, right?
Well, we both work a lot. Well, you know, we both do a lot of stuff. But we figured out our favorite time of the day is when. So we go to bed early when we get home. Our favorite thing to do is lay in the bed.
Yes.
Talk.
And we watch TV and we crack on the people on
That is
TV
amazing.
and we laugh. Like we'll watch Cops and we'll laugh
Oh,
at
gosh.
everybody like, look at them, you know what I'm saying? They're like, what? I can't believe they read it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we'll do that until we fall asleep. So I think that's our gist of our quality time around now. But we love to travel.
Yes.
So we always gone somewhere. Like we just got back from a family vacation and we taking another vacation not in a couple weeks. So traveling is our thing.
Do y'all travel with other couples?
We have.
Okay.
Yep. But we
just did.
family or by ourselves, we do it all.
Okay.
A lot of
We're
people don't
looking
want to
for other
travel with us
couples.
sometimes because
sure.
we done been in a couple hurricanes and kind of
So
stuff.
you go during the cheap weeks?
Yeah, exactly what it was. Ticket $40. What?
Let's go. In a hotel room all the week in Jamaica.
Do you
We gotta
guys?
stay in Dominican Republic 5 extra days. Our honeymoon, we got stranded for 5
Oh,
extra days.
Really?
Yep. Because a hurricane hit, and the Spirit wasn't in the Spirit. They weren't flying out. They said they canceled all the flights. Ted was about to die, have a fit, and we only had money for 4 days.
Yeah.
But we was stranded for 5. We had to walk around Dominican Republic all night.
Doing nothing.
Yep. Just all night. Like just walking around. We trying to find places to sleep on the beach.
Oh my.
I got a book
gosh.
cover that's coming out. The book's not out yet, but I got a book cover. Ted took a picture of me as the sun was rising while we sleep on the beach, and that's the book cover of one of my books.
Oh wow.
awesome.
Yeah, and it was a dope picture.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so she talks about it in her book that's coming out. It's
Yeah,
not out yet,
you
but
gotta put
she talk
that
about
in
that
your
story. Yeah,
Yeah. September.
yeah.
Jeez.
But it was at that moment or through that experience though where I was like, dang God, that makes sense. Oh, he's like survival. His survival instinct kicked in. I've been like I wouldn't say sheltered, but it's some stuff I didn't have to survive
Yeah.
or you know
Yeah.
what I mean? I didn't have to thrive or figure out how to live outside or that kind of stuff. And soon as that happened, he like, we good.
Jeez.
And he just figuring it out. And then I'm scared of cats.
Me too.
I hate cats. And every time like a cat would come in the area, he'd be like, come on, we're going to find another area. He just kicked in. And it became more like an adventure for real. Like it
That's
wasn't
beautiful.
as bad as it could have been.
Oh,
good.
that was so nice.
That's dope.
I kind of learned that from him. I learned how to, that was one of the things where I said, you adapt, or you grow through marriage. Because first when we used to miss a flight or we can't get home or any part of my plan changed, I'm like, no, this can't happen. You know, I'm upset, I'm frustrated, I'm stuck. All these emotions overtake me. But then he taught me
Figure it
how
out.
to adapt and be more fluid.
Like that's what he said about having different, basically different things about each other. Yeah. What if he was afraid of cats too? You both would have just been on the island running from cats. Hey. You need some differences. So yeah.
Man, it's so fun.
We were scared of getting stranded on our honeymoon. So I mean, leading up to our honeymoon was right when we were still in COVID, and we was going to Jamaica. And then like we started hearing all the rumors about places and having to have a vaccine and COVID popping back up. And sure enough, like maybe 3 weeks before our wedding, like Jamaica shut down. They're like, oh no, you can still come, but you can only go out of your hotel room on Saturdays and Sundays. We're like, what is we coming to Jamaica for? Yeah. So we had to shift gears real quick and decided to go to Mexico. We had a great time in Mexico.
Awesome time.
Awesome time in Mexico. We get ready to go back.
We like Mexico too. We like Jamaica too. Jamaica they be always trying to get her from me. I don't know why. They asked her one time if I was her brother. Yeah.
I know why.
I'm like, dang. So we got a couple minutes left, man. So I always want to ask this question before we leave. Is there any advice that you would give any of the listeners or people watching? If you could give any type of marriage advice, your advice, what advice would you give? I know we asked you earlier what was the best advice you got. So what would your advice be to any married couples that you've learned?
Me first?
Yeah.
You need to be able to self-evaluate and understand what things are non-negotiable for you and what things you're willing to compromise on. Everything can't be non-negotiable. You have to be flexible in certain areas. My wife and I, we both understood that. You know, she takes arguments head on. You know, if something's bothering her, she want to attack it right then. And sometimes I'm like, you just need to let this one go for a little bit. We can talk about it tomorrow. She had to learn that about me a little bit. She had to be a little bit flexible in that area. I had to be more flexible when it came to not leaving something on the counter, you know, until tomorrow. I'm still flexible, baby. Like trying to clean up after myself, not put the pressure on her. So you got to know what are non-negotiable for you and discuss it with your spouse. And the reason I answered earlier about a woman taking care of the household, I don't believe in traditional gender roles, but I do believe in roles within a marriage. I think you got to sit down and have true, you know, a true coming to Jesus moment where you have discussions about what you like, what you don't like doing. I don't like doing dishes. I don't like doing laundry. I got reasons why I don't like doing dishes, and I've explained that to her, and she's like, that's fine. I make up for that. She don't like getting dirty. So, hey, when it comes to anything outside the house, I'm on it, baby. You don't even need to ask. I'm screwing on the light bulb. I'm cutting the grass. I'm painting the wall. It is what it is. So just knowing where you can be flexible and understanding that you got to be able to give some things in a marriage in order for the marriage to be successful.
Great advice. Yeah.
I'll just say keep your business to yourself.
That's a good one.
And then if you are telling your business to people, I just watch who you're telling it to. Not everything. I wouldn't tell everything to anybody. I'm just saying if you do say something that's not a big deal in your relationship, hopefully that person is probably married or they give good advice. They're a positive person. You're very close with them. You know how they are. You don't want everybody in your business, and you should watch who your friends are at that time. You don't want bad people in your head with bad influences. Single people that want you to be out here cheating or doing something that you don't got no business doing. Just watch who your circle is when you are married.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Forever Williams.
Yeah, Forever
Hashtag
Williams.
Forever Williams. Did we just become best friends?
Yeah, I love you guys.
We're gonna take a vacation together.
Please,
Yes.
please. We need more married couple friends. So
That's our motto. Don't do marriage alone.
awesome.
It's hard to find good married
that.
couples. You can have married couple friends and they got a lot of drama and they start to rub off on you.
Yeah.
The husband out here cheating and he wants you to be, hey, come with me. No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
That's right, baby. That's right. Stay with me.
Thank y'all for being on the show.
Thank you, guys. Thank
It's
you.
an honor to have y'all. Thank y'all so much. The Williams is in the building.
Hey.
And this is Dr. Moss. That's
Dr. Moss.
and this is the Moss and Marriage Gold Show. God oversees all love stories, and we out.
Hey.